Hey everyone, this is Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. Welcome to my channel, Boston Chess Brawl. Alright, so I'm gonna take on all newcomers and play some fun Blitz. Let's see guys if you can challenge me. Pretty much anyone who wants to play 5-minute game, we can play, and I get to explain to you my thought process and we can learn from it. All right, let's see if anybody wants to challenge me. So I am on live chess, and my name is GM Eugene Perelshteyn, so you can easily find me there. All right, I got a challenge, 3-minute game. All right, looks like it disappeared. Let's see if anybody else is gonna challenge me. All right, I got a lot of challenges. All right, I'm just gonna accept one game at a time. All right, let's play. I'm white. And my rating is 2000. Okay, that's a little low, but honestly guys, I haven't played on chess.com in a while. So let's see, e4, c5. What should I play? How about the Grand Prix? For those of you who don't know, I actually co-authored a book, Chess Openings for White Explained, a while back. d6. All right, so I'm gonna try this move, f4. The idea of this Grand Prix is just simply to seize space on the king side and just go for checkmate. Knight f3, e6. My opponent is well prepared. Well, this is the main idea of the bishop b5. So the bishop gets outside of the pawn chain. I'm going to play d3 later. Well, I can take it right away. Should I? Let's do it. Sometimes I can wait for the move a6, but here I can just play d3 right away. I think so. Yeah, d3 works. And just castle. So black does have the bishop pair, guys, so you have to keep that in mind. And let's play this move, queen e1, getting ready for the queen transfer potentially to the king side. And now I have a couple of options. I can immediately play f5, but after pawn takes, this bishop may get opened up, right? So we have to be a little bit careful. Let's play bishop d2, not to show our cards just yet. All right, d5, usually you want to try to close up the game, so e5. So he's going to play there. And now, if he plays d4, guys, I'm going to play knight e4. So honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. Let's just get the king into safety. f6. And what if I take? Rook takes? Maybe, but somehow the e-pawn is too weak. I don't think it's such a big deal. All right, so now I'm going to play queen takes pawn. Free pawn. Is this a free pawn or is this a sacrifice? If knight takes d5, he wants to play rook e8, hitting my queen, and it's a little bit hard for my queen to find the spot. I can play queen d6 actually. It looks a little scary, doesn't it? So maybe I can go for it. What do you guys think? Knight takes d5, then rook e8, a little bit unclear, right? Well, let's just get the rook into the action. In general, the good rule of thumb, if somebody is stirring up counterplay, don't allow it. You're up a pawn, there's no worry. But he's got a big time advantage. He's got 4 minutes against my 3 minutes here. Knight b6, he is shoring up the protection of the pawn. Let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. Maybe knight e5 or knight g5. Good question, knight e5, maybe knight e5. My opponent is playing not bad for 1400, wow. So far only blundered one pawn. He may actually beat me. I may lose on time. 2:55, not a lot of time left. Right now, fork is coming, guys. Everybody sees the fork. Rook takes f7, queen takes, wins the exchange. Bishop e5, I think he has to play. You can't really tolerate the knight. And guys, if you have any questions whatsoever for me chess-wise, go ahead, throw them in the chat window, and I'll try to get them answered as quickly as I can. Pawn takes or queen takes? Good question. Pawn takes. Let's open up this bishop. Still got a little bit less time. 2 minutes against 3. Now rook here attacking my queen. I have to make a run for it. Make sure I don't blunder anything. d4 is a typical way to open up the bishop. I expected that, and now I need to try to block that diagonal with knight e4. He may play queen d5. And now it's very important, guys, that I don't move that knight. This is called a battery, hitting up g2. This move I'm not so worried about because the knight comes into f7, or more importantly, look at that. Queen takes h7 as mate. Is he gonna blunder mate? I think g6 has to be played. And then I can drop to h3, or I can go into the endgame up a pawn. Honestly, either one looks good. So let's see what he does. Let's see, g6. Oh, looks like blunder, guys. See, queen takes h7 as mate. My opponent actually took a lot of time, and now he resigned. All right, I'm not gonna do rematch because I just want to play as many players as possible. So let's see, Pete wants to challenge me. Let's play Pete. 3-minute chess, so I'm not that quick, guys. I'm old. e4, c5. I may lose on time. Let's see, g6. So I like to play the accelerated dragon. Everybody sees the c5, g6. It looks a little weird, but it is actually called the accelerated dragon, and it's part of my black opening book, Chess Openings for Black Explained. And the idea here is that you keep the pawn on d7, and it's gonna come in handy. Well, he takes, which is a sideline, but he does get one of my pawns closer to the center, and that's usually a good thing. Bishop g7. He just develops. So if I play knight f6, this move e5 is really annoying, so I have to prepare it. Let's play this move to prepare knight f6. All right, so the idea here is, so he doesn't play this e5 move hitting my knight coming in. If black manages to get out of this opening relatively unscattered, well, I'm simply going to be 2 central pawns versus 1 central pawn. Actually, this guy could be helping me out a little bit too. Knight f6, e5, pawn sacrifice maybe, pawn takes, queen takes. Well, looks okay for me. Well, he goes for it. He goes for it, guys. And is he gonna trap my queen? I have to be extra careful. Queen d8 is not mate because king is guarding that square. And now this check, intermezzo, I may actually snack on that little guy, that bishop on c4. And did he just blunder a piece? Looks like white played a little too quickly. So let's take this guy. Time-wise, I'm actually not doing so bad, even though my opponent plays extremely fast. And I managed to survive the opening, which is a good thing if you're black. Now, make sure don't play rook to d1, because bishop g4 is actually a nice skewer, hitting the queen. Rook e1. Okay, that's a better square for the rook. And he's targeting this guy. So let's just put the bishop here, block it off, connect my rooks. And now I just need to trade. And this move, not sure what the idea is. Bishop, he wants to trade too. All right, I'm up a piece, guys. So maybe trade is good for me. And for those who are just joining me, my name is Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. This is my new show on chess.com. Chess Blitz, Boston Brawl. Let's see who is gonna beat me. Queen takes or bishop takes. That's a difficult decision. Well, I do want to trade, so well, I'm probably gonna take with the queen. Although bishop takes here and the queen looks really promising. Well, let's do bishop takes just for fun. Hitting the queen. And where is she gonna go? Plus c2 is under attack, so you have to be a little bit careful. And it looks like I can just grab that guy. I don't see, well, bishop takes, king takes, I'm safe. Queen e5 check, I can just drop back. Not a big deal. Probably he wants to take on e7 with the rook. Rook takes e7 maybe. No, he wants to run with the h-pawn down the board. Checkmate me, perhaps. Well, let's get greedy, guys. Takes. All right, h5. And now, what's the threat? What's the threat? h6? Not really. I don't actually see any big threats. Should we get even more greedy? Let's get more greedy. Although, maybe, yeah, let's do that. Check. So, how about this move f6? Queen takes check, rook f7. That looks really interesting. Another move I can play is king g8. Well, let's do f6. This looks kind of interesting. Oh, I don't have any time. 23 seconds. All right, I gotta speed up here, guys. I am losing on time, big time. Pete is gonna try to flag me, which is okay because it's 3-minute chess. It's a little quick. And now let me just play this move e5. Now he really slowed down. Now he really wants to beat me. All right, so this is basically, I have to do that because I have no time. When you have no time, you just have to push your pawns. Pretty much. That's all you gotta do. Maybe even pre-move this move. Pre-move this guy. Keep pushing the pawns. Keep pushing the pawns. Check. Check. And then let's make sure we don't get any back rank mates. And then if he takes, we're gonna take. Now rook e7 check. Come on, rook e7 check. No. He's just gonna give me thousands of checks. Can I make it? Can I win this? What happened? He resigned? All right, so let's get another game, guys. Let's play against Enthusiast 14, and he's 1900. All right. So white to move. So I got lucky, guys. I was running really low on time, but somehow I managed to checkmate him. d4, knight f6. c4. Let's see, what should I play? Let's play King's Indian. You guys probably heard of my chess.com video series on the King's Indian. Let's test it out. Maybe my opponent knows what he's doing. Queen c2. I've never seen that move before, and probably I won't see it again. It's not a good move, guys. Why? The queen, right, should get developed this early in the game. There's absolutely no point to put the queen on c2. If you want to play a4, you can play that move right away. So I'm just gonna castle. I think queen c2 is just a useless move. And d6, e4, knight a6, and then I want to play e5. This is the idea of this knight a6 move. The idea of knight a6, e5, so the knight doesn't block the bishop when it gets, if I take a knight c5, yeah, that's okay, when it gets to the c5 square. And now see, this queen is misplaced. The queen is not protecting the knight. He has to be careful with the sack. And this move is just asking to be played, opening up the bishop, and a little tactic here. And that looks quite bad for white already. So you see, guys, when you play openings, you have to really know what you're doing. One bad move like that, usually it's bad news. All right, bishop e3. Let's take this guy. And who is gonna brawl against me here? Rook e8. Hitting the bishop, maybe? Is he gonna protect it? Bishop f2. King f2. Wow. Well, this is an interesting decision on by my opponent. If queen h4 check, he's got g3. So somehow I don't see any clear advantage with that check, so I'm just gonna play bishop d7. It's always a good idea to finish development before you start anything attacking like here. He's thinking. And now what do I do? Queen b2. That move really puzzled me a lot. Like, he's not even attacking this pawn, and I'm not sure what he's trying to attack, period. Now, rook takes e3 is a typical exchange sack. king takes, queen g5, king f2, but unfortunately there is no follow. But there is a really cool idea, guys. Let's see if you can. It looks like I'm just blundering the bishop. Let's see if he's gonna take it. If you see the tactic, this is actually quite a cool tactic. It's a double attack tactic. If he takes the bishop, there it is. And now you probably saw queen h4 coming. So now I'm opening that king a little bit at a time. Open up the big guy. And then my queen on h6 is eyeing that juicy e3 square. And guess what? He is down material and these pawns are just horrible. And he's asking to go into the endgame against me. Well, I cannot disagree with him more. I want to go into the endgame too. Bishop, rook here rather. Double up. Let's see. Rook e1. So we're going to go into some boring endgame maybe. Now if I play rook e8, this knight b5 move, double attack. Not a big deal. I can just take it. More trades. We want to get this game so boring that it doesn't get more bored than that. Takes, 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 king takes. Okay. All right, guys, I got a question. How long have I been playing chess? Well, I have to tell you that my very first professional tournament that I recall, professional tournament, at the age of 10, I was playing tournament chess at the age of 10, but I probably learned the game much younger than that. I would say 7 or 8. Well, this guy just blundered the knight. And can I just take it? I think so. So, you know what I would say in these positions? I offer you to resign. Well, he actually resigned in time. Let's play somebody else. I got a lot of challenges popping up. And let me see who I haven't played yet. Now I'm white. Let's just switch things up. The king pawn was a move I played before. Let's do the queen pawn. d4, knight f6. Let's play c4. This guy is called, oh, he's playing very sharp move. e5. So he's going for the gambit lines. I was expecting e6 going for some kind of a nimzo. Let's take that challenge. Knight g4 is typically the move. White usually protects the little guy. And then black gets tons of counterplay for this gambit. And let's see if I can play knight f3, I guess. Protect the little guy. Bishop b4 check or bishop c5. Both are possible. Can you play the reti? I have another question. Of course I can play the reti. Knight c3 or knight d2. Let's go with knight d2 just to keep my pawn structure intact. Although knight c3 was interesting as well. So queen e7. So he definitely wants to get this guy, right? The pawn on e5. Well, let me see. There's actually a trick, by the way. If I play a3, he can take on e5. And if I take the bishop, knight d3, checkmate. Let's see if he tries to... Nah, he didn't set up that trap. I wasn't going to take knight. I was going to play e3. Anyway, so... All right, let's see. Knight e5. Knight e5. What's his threat, guys? Whenever you're playing chess and your opponent just made the move, you have to ask yourself a question. What's my opponent's threat? Now, pawn on c4 is hanging. So that's why we're going to play e3. I can also take it and then play e3. Honestly, I'm not sure which one is better. Let's take it. Let's take it. I get the two bishops. I'm happy with the two bishops. So maybe next game I play the righty. Bishop e2. Bishop e6 is gonna hit this guy. He's not interested in my pawns. Let's see, how is the game? Is he gonna castle long or short? What do you guys think? Castling long. Wow. This guy wants to checkmate me. Normally, these guys, f2, g2, h2, are really good. Don't make any pawn moves where your king is, because that's going to weaken your king. Playing h3 or h4, I'm not interested in that. Instead, I'm interested in getting my own counterplay here. So if he's playing h5, that's telling you something. He may castle this way, right? Well, that's a pretty good hint. We got to start our attack. So how are we going to attack? Queen d5 looks interesting. Hitting the b7 pawn. He may just castle. c5 pawn sack looks pretty good. Let's go with the pawn sack. I always like to open up the king. Let's see if he's going to grab the pawn. Pawn takes, queen d5 is an option. Hitting the knight. And b7 pawn. If he doesn't take me, I'm going to take him, ruin his pawn structure. Well, why not? Plus, I have this bishop b5 check. Let's do a check. See, you have to, guys, castle in chess. My opponent was playing really good. You know, for 1200, he was playing really good chess for a while. But then he forgot to castle. And that could be deadly. If your king is stuck in the center like that. So he is going for the Harry the H-pawn storm, as Ginger GM likes to say. But if he plays h3, is it really checkmate? Probably not. So, but I cannot play g3, which is a typical reply. Aha, can I take? Let's take. Because the knight f3 forks, so I have to be a little bit careful. And now he's offering me the endgame again. Wow, these guys want to play endgames today. Bishop takes e5, queen takes d7. Now I'm going to play rook d1. Threat is bishop takes knight, queen d7, check. For those of you who are not seeing this. And if he castles, then he's going to lose the queen as well. So that knight on c4 is very much loose. Double attack. And now he is in big trouble. I don't like black's position anymore. So what is he going to do? Knight's under attack, pawn's under attack, king is stuck in the center, the d pawn is weak. And remember, guys, he just played h5, h4. Was it really useful? No. Absolutely useless moves. And this is just what I like to call desperation, because it's a free knight. There is no checkmate, and don't be scared of this h-pawn storm. If he takes on g2, I may not even take it right away. His pawn is going to shield my king from checks. So that's a very cool idea. Let's see what he's going to do. All right, queen g4. He wants to checkmate me. Excuse me, guys. Queen takes g2 is checkmate. So I have to do a little trick. Interesting idea, actually, I just had in mind to trick him with queen a4 check. I feel like that's even trickier, but this is okay. Because of king here, bishop takes check. It's game over. Plus the queen guards this g2, very important. So what is he gonna do? Well, I think it's time to resign. I don't see any defense. If king f8, bishop takes d6, wins the queen. King d8, rook takes. Yep, discovered. And then, so black actually played really good. So if we go back, let's close this game for a little bit. So notice that he played good enough with this gambit, right? He got the pawn back. I got the bishop pair, but he made the very typical mistake that a lot of beginners make. So notice that I managed to finish development. He simply should have castled. King side or queen side. Instead, he simply started running this pawn. I opened up the game. Check. The king got caught in the middle. And the game was finished really quickly. So this is a good lesson for everyone. Let's play another game. Okay, this guy is rated 2000. Not bad. Not bad. So let's see. What's the request? Should I play the Reti? Maybe let's play the reti. I don't know. Any other requests for openings? Ah, we're going for a double Fianchetto, guys. So this may transpose to some kind of an English. Or King's Indian, that is. So far, the symmetry is present. So d4 maybe. Break up the symmetry a little bit. And now what's he gonna do? a6. All right, a6 is not that bad. What should I do? b3, bishop b2 maybe. Knight c2 is an idea. See, this is a very interesting position. There are so many interesting setups for black and for white. Well, let's try this move just to switch things up. I have a cool request. Play Grub and the Halloween Gambit. Well, not today. I don't want to play anti-positional chess. These are called anti-positional openings. And I want to play good solid openings so everyone can learn. Now, bishop f4 runs into e5. Bishop e3, knight g4. Wow, this guy is actually stirring up some trouble out of the blue. Let's go here. So I expect knight g4 going after that bishop. In that case, I may actually have to go back to c1. That would be unfortunate if that happens. Queen c7. I'm not a big fan of that move because after knight d5, I'm going to get tons of space. Space is a really good thing in chess. For those of you who are not sure what I'm talking about, space is when your opponent's pieces are cramped, like they will be once my pawn gets over to d5. Notice he cannot grab the pawn. Can you see why? There's a little tactic. Yep, knight takes e7. You got it, guys. All right, people don't like solid chess. I'm getting King's Gambit, Wing Gambit. Wow, today everybody's in the Gambit mode. Let's see, Queen takes e4, Knight takes e7. That looks pretty bad. My opponent is thinking. I feel like strong players actually know when to think. Notice that this guy is thinking because the position is not that simple. Whereas weak players play through critical moments really quickly. And I feel like that's one of the biggest difference between masters and non-masters, is knowing when to think, how to spend your time. So now this pawn is over there. Now I'm going to use the space advantage, right, to connect my rooks. Notice this guy is kind of really poor on c8. Connect my rooks. And now I need to find entry points, meaning that I need to find ways to create weaknesses, right? Right now, the C file is a juicy file for my rooks. Another cool idea that Carlsen likes to do, the H hairy pawn march to H5, opening up this guy. So should we do the Carlsen idea, which is also Ginger GM likes to do, but H4, knight f6, I give him the G4 square. No, let's not do that, guys. Another cool idea is B4, but let's just play solid chess. Bring the rook over to double up. Knight f6 is going to be met by H3, stopping any counterplay. As Boris Gelfand mentioned in his latest book, I think it's called Positional Decision Making in Chess, which is, by the way, probably the best positional book out there. It's called the squeeze, where you're just basically centralizing all your pieces and stopping any counterplay. So H3 is a prophylactic idea, completely stopping knight G4. All right, so he wants to trade. Sure, one pair of rooks is actually helpful a little bit for him, but that's okay because I still have another rook on the board. So I'm just going to try to squeeze him in on both wings. B4, maybe A4, A5, I get a chance. Bishop D7 he has to play. Then maybe knight B3, knight A5. He's quite solid. It may actually be not winning for white with the space advantage. So you have to really work this out. Oh, I can play the London system. Hippo, I'm not a big fan, giving up the space. For those of you who don't know what the hippo is, it's G6, B6, double fianchetto, then E6, D6. You're basically using only the first 3 ranks for your pieces, which I'm not a big fan of. Oh, wow. That move I did not expect. This move actually improves my bishop. So you see this called en passant. These guys are weak. Now I need to pressure the pawns. The pawnies. Knight b3. Pawns are hanging. Not yet, actually. Rook d1 is next. The key with the hanging pawns, guys, you got to make one of them move forward so that you can attack its buddy, because they can't both move forward at the same time. So now it's important for me to start attacking the pawns. d5. Now, is e5 a big threat? Maybe it is, maybe not. If bishop c5, rook e8, knight c5, I'm not quite sure what to do. Well, let's trust our intuition. f4 is what intuition tells me. Stop those little guys from moving. Because if he plays e5, he's going to have full control over the center, which is not a good thing. We don't want to allow that. Knight e4, not a big deal. Notice it's a nice outpost because the bishop covers that square. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. These guys are doubled, and I should be better. Now this move, I was thinking of knight c5. That's going to put pressure on the bishop, the pawn, and this pawn. So now that's not a bad square for my knight. The bishop on e3, guys, I think belongs on d4, where it's going to actually fight for the control of that long diagonal. Now, I don't want to blunder any pawns. So this little guy is under attack, so I may actually need to protect it. So let's drop back. Everything's protected, and I've got a minute on the clock. And so far, this guy has been putting up a pretty good fight. And the problem is for black, how are you going to protect those b7, e6 pawns? So the pawns I'm talking about are these guys. Well, looks like he just dropped a pawn. That's his probably mistake of the game, but I wasn't seeing the easy defense. Can I take it? Yeah, let's take it. Free pawn. So guys, if you have any questions for me chess-wise whatsoever, please, you can start asking me. Once again, my name is Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. I'm from Boston, and welcome to my Brawl channel. All right, this is under attack, the knight, the horsey. The horsey, we have to move it to c5. And, oh, I have a question about Taimanov variation or the pin variation of the Sicilian. Okay, those are very popular variations. If we have time, we're going to go over them. Now, bishop b5, his first active move of the game. He's trying to activate the bishop, but there are really no targets. In my camp, e2 is well defended. e2 is quite well defended. I can play g4, but this pawn is going to be weak. Maybe I should play e3, but that's... no, I don't like that. That bishop's kind of locked up. Let's play a4. Bishop c4 I expect here. And then I was going to undermine the d pawn. If he takes, he loses the bishop. So he's got a little bit of a problem with his center. So you see, it's hard for black to come up with a move. The position is still complex enough where I could mess up because I have a lot of targets, right? He's got this pawn under guard from the queen, have to protect it. The g pawn has to be protected. Well, this move is asking to be played, and I have to trust my intuition on this one because that locks up the bishop. And now if I play g4, which a lot of you will play without thinking, I guarantee you, because that's going to trap the knight. There's a cool idea. Knight takes f4, queen takes, bishop takes e5. Right? Everybody sees that? That's called counterplay. Do we allow counterplay? Absolutely not. So let's play a move that seals that a pawn, so it's not moving anywhere today. And hopefully, see, now we can do this idea. The queen has left that b8 square, and then we're going to pre-move this. Well, we actually can't pre-move in time. Queen here, no threats. Notice no threats, so we need to go after mate. Knight f6. Slowly. Forget about the a pawn at this point. Pre-move this. Centralizing the bishop. Free pawns, why not? We take the free pawns. f7. Well, maybe that wasn't such a good move because now I have to trade queens. Well, he just gave up the rook. Okay, that wasn't very good. But okay, he actually didn't have much time, guys. You see, he had like less than second left. So let's have more challenges. Let's see, 5-0 chess. Who wants to play 5-0? Let's play this guy. This guy wants a rematch. Well, I have to give somebody a rematch. Can't be one-sided, right? So let's play e4. Bobby Fischer's favorite move. All right, I have a really good question, guys. Is chess about understanding or is it about pattern recognition? That's a really good question. So I would actually have to say both, right? What do I mean by that? Well, if you probably solve a lot of tactics, right? Such as Tactics Trainer, or for those who have Android devices, you can get my app Chess Genie. By solving a lot of tactics, you can actually improve in chess. And tactics is more of a pattern recognition, whereas understanding positional nuances, you know, how to improve when you have a bad piece, pawn structure, that's, I would call understanding of chess. Using ideas from one opening and then using them in another opening, that's also understanding of chess. So I feel like it's about both. C6, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is not a bad move. He's getting this retreat square for the queen. Typically bishop d2 is an idea here. So how should I proceed? Should I go for the main line? Knight f3. Let's go for the main line. Knight f6 or bishop, yeah, this is fine too. And then knight f6, bishop d2, and then they play e6 usually. And then knight d5. See guys, this is the main idea of this line. Knight e4 is okay too, by the way. Maybe knight d4. That's okay. Knight d5. Let's stick to the main line. Now queen's under attack. She has to go all the way to d8. Yep, this is all theory. And now I want to castle long or short. I don't know which way. But first things first, let's protect the pawn so queen can go to e2. Queen is now on e2. Now I get an option, long or short, depending on what he does, right? He's probably going to go knight d7. That's my guess. Queen c7 and castle long. I actually did a video on this for black, the Scandinavian. Maybe my opponent watched it. If so, that's a good job. He may know what to do next. So now queen c7 I expect. And I want to play here. I want to put pressure now. You don't want to allow knight takes f5, triple up those pawns, so you probably drop back. And then g3 is the idea. And then the following idea is quite instructive. So if I play f4, he's going to play f5. That bishop is locked up, but after knight f6, bishop h5, he's actually come to life. So what I have to do is I have to redirect the knight and get the h pawn, h the hairy guy to h5 and create some weaknesses. So that's my idea here. Let's see if he's gonna figure it out what my idea is. So he wants to play e5 maybe. Do we care? Maybe a little bit. Okay, he did play h5. So now if I play knight f4, maybe e5 is quite an interesting idea. So that's what I'm expecting. Another idea, he can just take that knight, but then I get the bishop pair. Bishop pair is always nice. Yep, he did play a5. So I was going to take this guy. And now it's an interesting position. Notice, guys, I can win a pawn. Bishop f7, bishop takes. But then he takes here, and the position gets a little hairy. But I do think that the g6 pawn is vital. And if he loses that, his h pawn is going to get weak. Well, can I take it? Free pawn maybe? Yep, so you see guys, he blundered the pawn, and now there is really no easy move for black. Pawn on h5 is hanging. He's trying to get counterplay. That's not a bad move. But I do feel like pawn is a pawn. You cannot simply give up pawns like that. So I could win this pawn, by the way, but then he plays f5. I don't like to allow my opponent's counterplay. And then this is called prophylactics. You don't want to have the king in front of the queen. Maybe some knight check. Knight is a very tricky piece. So, and then I want to play bishop e3 and double my rooks maybe on the d file. All right, let's see what's going to happen next. H pawn is really weak. See, this rook constantly has to babysit this little guy on h5, because otherwise I'm going to grab it with my queen. So what is he going to do next? That's a tough question. Bishop on f5 restricts a lot of his pieces. His bishop on d6 looks pretty bad. All right, now, as I like to say, endgame, endgame, endgame. Oh, I could have actually taken on h5, but that's okay. So I pre-moved queen takes d1, thinking that he may trade, but he didn't have to trade. So instead, I'm gonna take the pawn. Watch out for back rank mate. If my queen ever leaves side of this rook, it's gonna be mate. Now bishop f4 wins. Oops. So somebody asked a question about patterns. Well, this is called the skewer pattern in chess. Bishop on f4, hitting the queen and the king. You see, this is a skewer. So I think he's just blundered this. So let's see if he's going to resign after this move. So that's bad news for black. So yes, you have to solve tactics. Like I said, you can solve tactics, tons of apps. There is a Chess Genie app that I created with 500 puzzles for all levels. There is Tactics Trainer. You got to know about these skewers, checks, forks, smothered mates. It's all patterns. All right, he resigned. So let's see. There is another question. What do you suggest for a 1950 player for improvement? I have a 22-29 Tactics Trainer rating. Good job, by the way. 22-29 is not bad. Now, how do you suggest any specific books or anything else? So, yes, good question, guys. In the meantime, let me see if I can find some other challenges and try to answer it. All right, I've got a challenge, and let me see if I can answer the question. So, tactic books are really good. Why? It's a good complementary. What? Another of this opening? Come on, guys. We can't play every day the same opening. Wow, it's like a thematic tournament. So knight c3. Okay, good. So now black is switching things up a little bit. So this check I don't actually like because it's blocking the bishop and the e pawn. In chess, you don't want to block your pieces. Talk to your pieces. Ask them how they feel about this move. I'm sure this bishop and this bishop are not going to be pleased to hear from Her Majesty that they are locked up for good. That's why we're going to develop. So yeah, a lot of good tactics books. A really good tactics book is by Valakitin. For those of you who know this grandmaster and his coach, he's like over 2,600 FIDE, I think. Really good player from Ukraine. And perfect, I think it's called Perfect Your Chess, if I'm not mistaken. So d4, d4, knight b4. Is this some kind of a trick? I'm not sure what he is going for, maybe. So black is playing super tricky. Notice he's hitting my pawn on c2. Well, after all, it's a brawl. It's a Boston brawl. We cannot defend all our pawns. We have to play chess and give up pawns sometimes. Like I did now on c2, he can just take it. Yep, free pawn. But it is opposite side castling, guys. What does that mean? Attack, attack, attack. So first things first, do I take or do I play d5? Two logical ideas. Let's take. He has to take with the pawn. That move really weakens the king up a little bit. So now I gotta get the queen out of there. Here maybe. But if he takes on d4, knight takes bishop c5, that's a pin. Talking about pins, right? We don't want to get pinned up. Pawn takes d4, knight takes c5. So it looks like there are a lot of pins coming my way, which is not great. But what can you do? All right, let's play here. Let's pre-move this. And then bishop c5 is what I expect. Come on, pin. Then queen h3 was my idea. Getting out of the pin with the tempo. In chess, tempo moves are extremely important, guys. This is when you solve tactics, you'll learn that too. You get out of this check, and now the knight is free to roam around, or I can protect with the bishop, but then he's going to take twice. So let's not do that. So endgame maybe, endgame. Endgame anyone? Let's go for the endgame. Because my queen was a little bit stuck in the corner, right? So it was a little bit dangerous for me. Ah, he's not going for the endgame. He is very ambitious today. So a4, a5 is asking to be played. Then there's bishop c2. I'm a little bit worried about bishop c2 if I play a4. So let's play here anyways. Development is key, guys, to chess. If you develop, you should be fine. Bishop f4 was not a bad option either. So yeah, good tactics books. Valakitin is and his coach wrote a great book. I'm sure there are many others. Imagination in Chess, that's a great book. Knight c5 maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna make some random moves that look good. He's actually quite solid here. I have to advance pawns, but it's a little slow. Now rook takes e3. I have to watch out for this idea. So b4 maybe. Solidify this guy. Now rook d3. Yeah, I'm not liking my position, guys. He didn't play that. No, actually knight takes d3. I was missing that tactic. So okay, let's take. I'm actually gonna undouble his pawns. Wow, he's not being cooperative here. He's not doing that. Okay, so in that case, let me try to get these guys rolling. Oh wow, a5. That was a little unexpected actually. Check. b5. What do I do? If I take, bishop takes. I don't see any follow-up. That was not such a bad move actually. Looked a little weird. Check. Takes. Takes, takes. Takes. Yeah, interesting idea. Alright, maybe I need to regroup. Regroup and play some move. Alright, let's play. Well, he wants to take. Let's play here, because I'm not seeing anything useful. This guy's actually playing really good chess, so let's give credit to our opponent. I'm actually really losing this game. 2 minutes is like extra piece in Blitz. When you're down by 2 minutes, that's bad news. So pawn takes, I expect. Then maybe knight a6 check. In general, wow, this move. I can't guess any of these guys' moves. Alright, what is his threat? What is he trying to do? I don't know, I'm just going to move my queen out of the way. I could have traded queens. He insists, okay. So you want to trade. Okay, now let's do this move. So notice that if he takes, it's a pin. But I'm not liking my position at all. I have to create a little window. I don't want to get back rank mates. h3 is a very typical idea here. Actually, what is he trying to do? Pawn takes, rook takes, bishop c5. Alright. Let's do this, because I don't want to get back ranked. And get this guy out of the way. So you see that I'm actually down some material, and it's an uphill battle. Oh wow, that was actually not a bad move. That knight is out of the game. This game is pretty much over. I don't see how I can get the knight into the game. King b7 wins the knight outright. Yeah, that was a good play. Good play by my opponent. Very good play. The knight is completely and utterly trapped. Well, can I try this last ditch effort? Bishop b5. What kind of move is that? It's a tricky move. If I take, rook takes e5, yeah, I'm losing this game probably on the board and on the clock. So I don't see any way out of it. I'm probably going to resign. Good job. So yeah, time ran out and I'm down a piece. This is a very good job by my opponent. We have to give him credit. He put up a really good resistance and he surprised me with a lot of moves. So let's play another guy. Let's play Notorious BIG. Okay, 1400. All right, e4. What should I play? Let's play the. We haven't really had a lot of accelerated battles today. Let's try that Sicilian defense. All right, he's gonna go for the knight c3, maybe Grand Prix, maybe close Sicilian. We're not sure, but that is a start. Ah, okay. Knight f3 tells me he's probably gonna play d4. Maybe d4, some kind of weird transposition. Bishop c4 is another option, guys. Ah, all right. So we are transposing. All right, I had a question. What is a tempo move in chess? So tempo is a funny word. It just means time. So a tempo move in chess is a move that wins time. All right, so you see f3, he's playing like I'm playing the regular dragon. The difference being is that I'm playing the accelerated dragon. That gives my d pawn more options, such as I can play d5 in one go. And this is one of the benefits for those of you who are not familiar with this opening. You can actually win a lot of games using this method. So now he's actually not castled yet and already got d5 in. So knight takes c6 probably is what he should play. Yep, he did that. And then maybe castle. If he castles, notice that I cannot take on e3, my queen is pinned. Now I have an option. Queen takes is an endgame, which I don't mind, or pawn takes. Let's go queen takes, that's a logical move. Notice this guy is a monster, and my pawn structure is now much better. So when I talk about pawn structure, you typically think of the word pawn islands. Whoever has the most pawn islands. Clearly I have 2 and he has 2. With the pawn on c6, I had 3. So that's important. Bishop c5 does not trap my rook. I can run away. Bishop here. This guy doesn't feel comfortable there. Let's trade it. Bishop a6. You want to trade off that bishop. Why? Because right now it's blocked in its own pawn chain. You see, guys? This is a very uncomfortable location for the bishop. It's constantly hitting that pawn. Now, once you trade it off, it's so much easier to play now. All right, so let's see if he takes. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. I'm from Boston, and we're playing Blitz, Boston Brawl. All right, let's trade these guys. And let's pre-move here. Get the rook on the half-open file. And now the plan is, even though it's a queenless position, right, we still can go a little bit and attack this king. a4, maybe a3, maybe weaken him up somehow. Although we're probably not going to checkmate him. But nevertheless, it's a little uncomfortable to be white here. And it's all because of my first love, that bishop on g7. All right, so now h5. Let's gain some vital squares. Notice that it's really difficult. I think he has to trade that bishop. It's difficult to find moves for him. He's not doing much. What should we do? If I play a3, I don't like this move. b3 locks up the game. I do need some targets. I don't know how to find them. Let's go here. Maybe double up on the b file, rook b7. I have to say that white's position is extremely solid and it's not easy to crack. All right, so he wants to clearly trade those bishops. That's a good move, guys. So now what do? If I avoid the trade, let's avoid the trade. I do give the diagonal, right? But it's okay. It's okay because I can later try to take it away with f6 moves. Maybe not the best move. I don't know. This was a difficult decision. Do I give him the diagonal or not? Now let's go here. So just trying to find something, some kind of a target. So, all right, so he's actually going to try to checkmate me here too. So who is going to get whom? b2 is weak. Rook b1 is what I expect. Yep, he did that. So now if I take pawn takes, I kind of have to go here because otherwise, guys, rook h3, rook h8 is mate. So I didn't want to... interesting intermezzo hitting the rook. Although I'm not quite sure what the point of that is. So pawn takes and then bishop g7. So I don't want that rook to come to h3 and mate me. So you see that bishop f8 move I didn't like from the get-go. If I take pawn takes, why not? Maybe not yet. Let's activate this guy first. So if he takes, king takes, and then he doubles on the h file, my king can run away. That move, maybe I should take. If I take here, he can take with the pawn. Yeah, let's take here. Wow, my opponent is playing not bad, right? For 1400, I don't think he blundered anything this game, which is good. So he's hanging in there. So if I take pawn takes, once again, I don't see any way to create damage. So I'm just going to go here, hoping that he takes me instead. No, this guy doesn't want to take me either. Well, in that case, should I bite the bullet, play 3? I don't see any other way. This is risky. I don't see any other way to play for a win. Let's sharpen the game up. He has to take on c4. And now he may play rook d4 or b3 or some other move. Yep, he did go there. So if I take, pawn takes, king takes, it's actually quite losing for me. Why? Because, well, he's got an outside passer. So I can't allow that. If I take, he has this intermezzo. So I think I have to go back, which is okay because now I need to activate my pieces. So he's playing not bad at all. And now I need to activate this guy. King b3 is what I expect. Yep. And now he wants to take, but then I take on c3. So maybe, this move. Okay, well, in that case, what do I do? In that case, maybe bring the rook. Maybe bring the rook. King b4 is what I expect. Come on, queen d4, yeah. And then I have to go back. b6. He's getting closer. Good job. Okay, this move is okay too. I have to take. He's playing an endgame like a pro. Like a pro. Rook here, check. Not good, not good at all. All right, let's do this. You have to activate the rook, guys, in the endgame. So b6, come on, b6 should be winning. Every move is perfect. There's nothing I can do. b6 is very good. I have to go here, and now king b5 wins the game. Wow, very good. Now I have to do this. b7. Or you can check as well. Yeah, I was gonna go here. Now king a6 is a very important move. Yep, he's playing this perfectly. There's nothing I can do. Now rook c8 and I resign. Yeah, this guy definitely is not a 1400. Probably much higher than that. So you see, there's nothing I can do, because if I take the pawn, he just queens. And if I do nothing, he's gonna play rook b5. Well, he played this game perfectly. And, well, I don't see any ideas here. Any ideas whatsoever. Well, I have to kind of wait and do nothing. And then this. Kind of my last attempt. And then king a6 wins, because king b8, and this is a beautiful win. And then he has to play king b6, and I have to play an f-pawn move. He takes en passant, and then after he takes en passant, he queens with check. So f7, and then f8 queen. Oh, I don't know how I won this game. He lost on time. But yeah, this guy is definitely not a 1400. I have to tell you that. He played a really good game, way better than his rating. So the end game was actually very instructive, how he managed to squeeze my... Normally it's a stalemate, this type of position. But because of that, if I could get rid of that f-pawn, it's actually a draw. But I have to move it. All right, let's play another 5-0 game. And guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, chess related, please throw them at me. This is Boston Brawl chess channel, and I am Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. Let's play g6 and hope for the best. Castles. So now we're getting some kind of a King's Indian. Notice this guy is not telling me where that d pawn is going to go to. d4, maybe. d3, who knows. Okay, so let's play queen a5. This is from my repertoire chess.com videos where I recommended King's Indian. And now white has several good moves. e4, h3. Queen d2 is an interesting idea, to meet queen h5 with queen g5. Yeah, e4 is fine. And then I'm gonna go and trade the bishop for the knight. That move, that's unexpected, guys. Let's see what happens. Because this pawn is actually attacked from the queen. Queen and the pawn. He may actually lose a pawn. Takes. And then queen can take. Let's pre-move that. So the idea now is that white is down a pawn, but he does have the two bishops. For those of you who have never heard of the bishop pair advantage, I highly recommend that you study up on this topic, because two bishops is actually worth half a pawn more than bishop and knight. On average, right? Some positions, they're kind of worthless, but in open positions, they're really important. So he wants to trade. Bishop takes, bishop takes, bishop. That may be too greedy, because I have really no development. So let's play here, just trying to develop our pieces here. Now, if knight takes knight, knight takes back on f6. And I finally connected my rooks. I'm just up a pawn, but that's usually enough to convert with accurate play. I didn't have to go grabbing material. Don't be materialistic, guys. In chess, sometimes if you go pawn hunting, that could really be detrimental to your position. So what is he going to do? Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, chess-wise, please throw them in my way, and I'll try to answer them as I have time. So queen b3 is hitting the pawn, but do I have the intermezzo? Knight takes knight, bishop takes, and I throw this intermezzo. Notice how the knight protects the pawn, forks the queen and the bishop. And now, with a little bit of simplification, now I can take on e4. Black is better, but if I want to be greedy, I could take this b pawn. So this is an interesting decision. Greedy or not greedy? Let's go with the greedy part, because the B pawn is actually well protected. So here or here, I don't know, here. And now I just want a pawn. I could have taken the A2 pawn, but then he could try to pin me with queen A2. Obviously, I don't want to get pinned. Everything's protected. A2 pawn is still weak. I have a little bit more time. Life's good. What else do I need? All right. Who wants to brawl? Rook takes b7, doesn't work. Knight's protecting it. All right, so he wants to take, takes. That's a threat in my book. That's why I have to do something about it. I'm gonna go for simplification a little bit and protect 2 pawns with 1 move. So now I'm up material. Let's play e5 here. And I think I'm doing quite good for black. 2 pawns up. All right, let's see. I've got a question. I get beat regularly over the opening. I'm a beginner, 1400 FIDE. Well, if you're 1400, you usually do get beat in the opening, so that's normal. What line is good non-sharp line for me to study with white and with black? Well, of course, if I want to be biased, I'm going to say go ahead and buy my books, Chess Openings for Black Explained and Chess Openings for White Explained. But I would actually have to say, normally, any solid opening that fights for the center is good enough for you. You obviously don't have to learn, and that's actually a lot of my students ask me that question. Openings are so much theory these days. How am I going to master it? And my advice, don't memorize, understand. If you can understand the first 10 moves of the opening and what you do next, that's good enough. So there you go. That's my answer to your question. If someone is new to chess, what should he start to read and study about? Well, excellent question, because you're in the best chess site in the world. Chess.com has every resource to you available. You want Grandmaster lectures? You got them. You want to practice your tactics? Tactics Trainer, you got it. Like I said, you can also get my app, Chess Genie. There's so many resources you can get on chess.com. Chess Mentor is really good. And if you can take advantage of all these resources, you're probably going to get better. So notice what I'm doing here, guys. This is called a pawn chain. Pawn chains are good because every little guy protects each other. And now it also protects this rook, which in turn attacks the bishop. You see, chess pieces like to talk with each other. They want to coordinate. And now it looks to me I can simply... I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. Let's do this. Lock this guy up for good, and then I can double up. All right, so now I've got a nice open file. I can do the Alekhine gun. For those of you who know that, I can put my rook and then my queen and then win the open file. That's being a little flashy. Obviously, I don't have to do that. My opponent resigned, which actually is not bad timing at all. A lot of you play until mate, which is fine, in Blitz especially, but resigning is not bad. So, good job. White was fighting hard. And I've got another challenge. In the meantime, I've got a question coming my way. That, yes, d4. And now knight f6. And now knight c3. Wow. Wow, what a move. What a move. This is very interesting idea. He wants to play e4. So let's stop it. Let's stop it. Bishop e3. Yeah, see, these two moves don't work well together because you're not talking to your chess pieces. How does this bishop feel about this bishop? Not so good, because the pawn is blocked, right? This pawn is also blocked. So these two moves make not a lot of sense to me. I'm going to play c6 and find out what my opponent is trying to do. f3. Okay, that's not bad. At least he wants to drop the bishop back, maybe get some counterplay going. And somebody's asking about endgames. Endgames, endgames, endgames. Well, if you have any patience whatsoever, I do recommend to study endgames. Not a lot of people want to do that. Endgames do take a lot of time, but I have to tell you one thing. If you want to play against Magnus Carlsen and you are Caruana, you have to know how to win in a winning position, rook and bishop against rook. It's actually a theoretical draw, but Caruana managed to get a winning position and then he screwed it up against Svidler. As a result, he did not beat Svidler, and he had to win with black against Karyakin and lost in a actually quite interesting game. So I'm going to play here and stop bishop h6. But if you do like to study endgames and if you have patience, there are a lot of good books out there. One of my favorites, From Amateur to I Am, by this British chess player. You can also search for chess.com library of endgame lectures that I did. I think I did like 3 on practical endgames, where I kind of give you some general advice. So yeah, you have to be patient. Endgames do require a little bit of patience, but once you study endgames, guess what? They're not like openings. They're not changing. They're for life. The method that Caruana forgot that he could have used to win against Svidler is called the Philidor method in the rook and bishop against rook, which was published in 1700s. 1700s, guys. You see how old chess is? And this guy was really good. André Philidor from France. He was actually a musician. So you can Google up his name, and he's quite an interesting character. He published that analysis, and I don't have time to show you how to win. It's actually very tricky, but there are some positions that rook and bishop against rook are winning. So that's endgames for you. So the idea of this move, I'm going to stop e4. My opponent actually correctly played. See, he noticed that he needs to get this guy out, and now he is thinking a3. And my show is coming to an end, guys. So if you haven't had a chance to challenge me, you do get a chance to maybe play one more game or maybe 2 more games after this. So please do and challenge me when you can. And I would be coming back with the same show, hopefully next Monday, which is listed on chess.com/TV schedule. So just keep an eye on that schedule for my next show. So he's actually putting the bishop on f2. Not bad. We have to give him credit. And I'm not sure what I'm doing. Maybe castle long. Castle long is an idea. Finally, this guy is free. He's free to roam around. What do I do? Bishop h6, maybe. Then bishop takes h4. Not quite sure what to do. Well, let's just fan shadow this bishop, just in case it may come in handy. And then e5. And if you haven't challenged me yet, you have a chance to play me one more game after this, because the show is winding down, and I'm not sure why he just locked his bishop up. Can't predict any of these guys' moves. All right, let's play this move. g3, okay, fan shadow maybe? In that case, I told you earlier, space grabbing moves are usually good, and guess what? This guy is not going to feel very happy. The H pawn is going to do its business and then take this guy. Looking bad for white. I have to tell you that when your pieces start going on their initial squares. The bishop went back, knight went back. Is he really setting up for the next game? Let's play knight e4 and see what happens. Takes, pawn takes, or knight? I don't know. Bishop takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. So I did just lock this guy up, guys. So don't think that the game is over yet. But I think this guy is actually, these two guys are out of the game for a good while. So let's speed it up a little bit. I got no time, which is bad, but my position is winning. And let's do this. He is speeding up a little bit too. That's good. B5 next. So this is gonna be called running out of oxygen. The theme of today's game is make your opponent run out of oxygen. And notice that this pawn has to be protected. And little by little, black is seizing more and more squares, although I do have very little time. And he is still putting up resistance, so I have to be careful. Oh, free knight. For another skewer. Free move. Another guy on h6. Hitting the e3 pawn. Take the free pawn. Free move. This game is going down to the wire, but am I quick enough to finish white off with an extra material? All right, let's protect this little guy. And let's get out of the way. Bring the rook in. So now, little by little, I made all the useful moves. Still not winning yet. Still need to create some serious threat to win this game. And maybe I just got lucky. Checkmate. For those of you who saw this comment, you see what he did? He messed up by putting the king on d1. He allowed this beautiful queen check, and this guy was cutting off the escape squares. So if you haven't had a chance to play against me, you might get... Okay, this is probably the last game, guys, and let's make it count. The last game of the show, and I am white against diamond. Diamond is not moving because he is perplexed by my first move. Bobby Fischer's best by test, e2, e4. e2, e4, and black is in trouble. Black is in trouble, guys. So if you have any last minute questions for me, please go ahead, throw them at me chess wise, and hopefully I can answer them. We talked a little bit about openings and games, good chess books, how to build a repertoire. Looks like my opponent is not moving. I'm gonna board this game, and this is the end of my show because we are out of time, guys. So thank you very much for everyone who played against me. There was a lot of fighting chess, a lot of brawling, and I hope to see everybody again. More questions, more games, more fun. Thank you, and goodbye, everyone.